Hey everybody, hopefully you're having a great Friday afternoon so far. A really nice day around both counties, San Diego and Imperial County, but it's still a little humid outside. We have the sunshine, also some mid and upper level clouds moving through. The reason why it still feels kind of tropical and also we're seeing some of those higher clouds is because of the ridge of high pressure, which is centered over the Four Corners region, driving in some of that monsoonal moisture that we've seen over the past couple of days and bringing the humidity values up as well. We've sort of been watching and waiting on the development of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon over the mountains. It was expected by around this time, 2, 3 o'clock, we'd start to see some activity popping up. I think what's happened is some of the high clouds that we saw this morning, there was a lot of them, has sort of tapped into some of the instability and is limiting the fuel for thunderstorms that's needed. So over the next couple of hours, there's still a low chance, about a 10 to 20% chance over the higher terrain of the San Diego County mountains that we could run into a stray shower or thunderstorm, but it's looking more likely at this point. The rest of the afternoon and heading into the evening is going to be dry for us. Temperature-wise, cooler than where we have been at least earlier in the week when we were talking about those extreme heat warnings and heat advisories. Mid-70s along the coastline, 83 right now in Escondido, 79 in La Mesa. We're at 80 in Julian, and then out in Imperial County, as expected, triple-digit heat, 103 in Brawley. El Centro is also at 103 and 101 in Salton City. With that stickiness in the air, it kind of feels extra uncomfortable, even a bit of a heat index in some places. Overnight tonight and into Saturday morning, as we get you going into your weekend, rain layer clouds roll back in along the coastline, so we'll start off in the mid to upper 60s. For both the coast and the valleys, about 79 tomorrow morning in Borrego Springs, mid 80s across Imperial counties with the humid weather sticking around. And there's a lot happening this weekend in San Diego County. We have Comic-Con taking place, the Del Mar races also ongoing. Today was the first day of the races. And then, of course, San Diego Pride. So if you're heading out for any of the fun, here's a look at the forecast. Maybe you're doing the 5K walk and run, which kicks off at 8 a.m. Marine layer clouds will be present, so that's going to keep it nice and cool. Temperatures in the low 70s. By the time the parade begins about 10 a.m., the clouds will begin to mix out, so you'll notice some more peaks of sunshine, and then by noon, when the festival gets going, which goes all the way into the night, we're going to have near perfect weather, temperatures in the mid-70s, and a mix of clouds and sun. Where the weather is not perfect is out in the eastern Pacific, where the tropics are coming to life. We have tropical storm Elita this afternoon with max winds of 65 miles per hour. Pressure is at 994 millibars, and now the storm is beginning its turn to the north, so west-northwest movement at 12 miles per hour. It is a large, somewhat disorganized tropical storm, but you'll notice the circulation in the center is becoming more defined. So some strengthening here is possible with Elita over the next couple of days. It gets close to hurricane status by tomorrow morning, but will be a strong tropical storm at the least, and then weaken substantially here into early next week as it continues its northward trek well off the coast of San Diego and Southern California. However, it will be passing close enough by in terms of waves to bring some pretty respectable conditions for the surf. We have a high surf advisory here for some of those large waves, 4 to 7 feet, some sets to 9 feet for our south to southwest facing beaches. Again, because of Elita offshore sending those swells all the way in our direction. That high surf advisory begins tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. and goes with us through Tuesday at 11 p.m. So experienced swimmers and surfers only. Again, you want to be respecting the waters out there. All right, let's jump ahead a couple of days because I want to transition from what's happening out in the tropics and talk more about what we can expect heading into next week. So this is a look at Futurecast on Tuesday afternoon. And this time of year, when we talk about the monsoon, if you've been living in Southern California for some time, it's all about the placement of the high pressure. So this weekend into early next week on Monday, high pressure retreats to the east. It moves into the southern plains. But then look what happens as we get going into Tuesday afternoon and through Wednesday morning. High pressure begins moving westward, and it's going to be all dependent on how close that high gets to us as to whether or not we see thunderstorms next week in the mountains. So by Wednesday afternoon, the high will be close enough by. We see some showers and thunderstorms over Arizona. Still not expecting any in San Diego and Imperial County. Thursday is going to be the question mark day because that high passes close enough by, we think, we could find a few isolated showers and thunderstorms, those monsoonal conditions over the mountains potentially and into our deserts as well. If the high sneaks further west than is currently anticipated, those rain chances will go up. So it's just something to keep an eye and monitor. All right, here's our 7-day forecast for the coast as we put everything we just talked about together. Marine layer onshore flow present as the high pressure retreats to the east. Onshore flow returns. Temperatures upper 70s to around 80 degrees here through this weekend, and then warming up into the lower 80s next week with mostly sunny skies. For our inland neighborhoods into the valleys, looking at the marine layer clouds, at least for Saturday morning, you'll notice a very slow warming trend into next week. Upper 80s near 90 by Wednesday. Low chance of some monsoonal showers on Thursday and Friday, but yes, getting hot again as we're back in the 90s. For our mountain communities, steady in the mid to upper 80s through this weekend into early next week. The 90s return by Wednesday, and then again, a few showers and thunderstorms possibly Thursday and into Friday as well. In the deserts in Imperial County, notice temperatures here over the next few days going to be around 105, 6, 7, 8 into Monday and Tuesday. But as high pressure gets closer to us by the end of next week, dangerous heat returns. It'll also be humid. Look at that, 111 degrees by Thursday, 112 heading into Friday.